Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. You know what, Julia? I've been watching. Oh, how is everybody else? We want to know how everybody's doing. But I was laughing because I was watching some of our previous shows from the last few weeks. And whenever the music stops, we look like we're stunned. We're dazed. We're kind of, oh, what now?
Those
So,
in headlights.
yeah. So I said, today we're just going to look like we're right into this show. So hopefully we did. But so how was your weekend?
Oh, it was great. It was busy.
Yeah.
My world has been spiraling and it's been a win world since the election has been announced because I'm a member of a political party. So I'm actually on the board. So it's been um yeah, it's been crazy. The process of getting a nominee and getting that nominee vetted and approved and ready to run. It's just
Mhm.
yeah, it's been nuts. But this weekend, the nominee for the NDP, Jeremy Rose, was acclaimed last night and now officially is running. And then we also broke the news last night that Stefan, oh my God, I can't have to look his name up. I can't
Yeah, it's a
remember now.
different
But
name.
anyways, from the New Blue Party,
Mhm.
is also in the process of getting vetted and will be running for the New Blue Party.
And then we've got Nolan Quinn for the Conservatives. So
Yep, and the Liberals have not announced anything yet, so I'm not sure if there is. I'm sure there's gonna be somebody representing the area, but as far as I know, for now, there's nothing.
so basically, as always, we're doing election coverage. So if you go to our website, there's a banner across the top. You can go and read about the candidates. And we're in the process of sending out questions for all the candidates to answer. It'll be the same questions. So we always like to do that so we can compare their answers and understand their platforms. So that will be hopefully coming in the next little while.
Sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
And
and
and then
and
on the 17th, the
yep,
show on the 17th, we're going to host a candidate talk. I don't want
yep,
to call it a debate because it's
no,
not really a debate format, but we're going to sit down with the candidates and have a chat with all of them.
yeah, and we're gonna extend that
Hopefully,
show.
all of them.
Yeah, well, we hope to for sure. So the show will be extended from 10 to 12 that day, a 2 hour show, because I think we're gonna need the time. But
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see what everybody says.
Yeah. And people can ask questions
Yeah,
to the candidates as well. So, how was your weekend?
I was a busy girl too, out and abouting. I stopped in at Fantasy Realm. Would you believe Randy is celebrating 40 years in business in the same location? That's
That's crazy.
yeah, that's awesome. His anniversary is actually tomorrow. He started when he was 23 in 1985. Would you believe? He started
Wow.
his business. So I stopped in. He had a little, you could stop in and reminisce on Saturday. So I did. And then there was the Love is in the Air market. I stopped in that. That was
That
fundraising
was for
for fishing for
fishing for autism, right?
autism. But the hosts were the Canuck Beaver, who were also celebrating 1 year in business that day.
Wow.
So that was
Nice.
interesting. And here's another thing too. I found out the hosts were, I believe, Julie and Jerry, and Julie was telling me that if they get $5,000, if they raise $5,000, there's four ladies that are gonna shave their heads. I think
Oh, wow.
they raised $5,000 because I saw a video of the four ladies shaving their heads.
Oh,
So one of
wow.
them is Amanda Scrivens from Red Octopus, and then Julie, their daughter Rose, and there was another lady, I don't know her name, but she had the most neatest purple hair and purple outfit, and now her hair's all gone. But yeah, so they reached their goal of $5,000.
Wow. That's
Well,
awesome.
that was awesome. While I was there, of course, I stopped in at my favorite store, Modern Primitive. They have their open house day the first Saturday of every month. I can never usually go because we're doing a wedding, but I stopped in. If you haven't visited that store, guys, you've got to go on the top floor of Cornwall Square. It is amazing. I think you've been, eh, Julia?
Oh yeah, many, many, many times.
Love, love, love that store. But
Yeah.
I stopped in there, and then my last stop, of course, I visited my mom in between because I always do that when I'm in Cornwall. But my last stop was McDonald's and Big Mac Day. The Big Mac this Saturday was sold for $3.99, and last week we had Val Bowen on, so she talked about Big Mac Day, and her
Yes.
parents were the first ones to uh, own McDonald's in Cornwall in 1972. And what happened is, whenever it was Cecile and Lorraine Robertson, and when Cecile passed, her grandfather, I think they called him GPP for Grandpapa. But when he passed, the family got together for their last meal before everybody left, and they ate at Big Macs at McDonald's, which was very fitting. So they started calling February the 1st the Big Mac Day.
Mhm.
And now the two owners have taken it over, and they officially call February 1st Big Mac Day in Cornwall. So that's
Awesome.
why it was Big Mac Day. And Big Mac, like I said, was $3.99. And that was the price that it was in 2018 when Grandpa died. So that's why it was that price. But when they started McDonald's in 1972, guess how much the Big Mac cost?
I think it was a quarter or something. No,
No, actually,
probably a little more. Let's say I'll guess 59 cents.
65.
Oh wow, I wasn't far.
Pretty
So,
close.
my
And you
lady,
could,
I just want to mention that there's kind of like crackling in your sound. I think you have your headset on, but I think you're feeding the sound from your computer. So just try to not touch anything around your
oh,
computer because I think
okay.
the microphone is, yeah, right there. You sound fine otherwise, but just
Weird.
sidebar.
Weird.
Okay. So, speaking of McDonald's, I think we
Mm-hmm.
have an item today that we're going to be appraising for from McDonald's
Yep,
because we have a special guest today.
we do. Are you going to bring him in?
Our very own appraiser, and this makes this show our very own antique roadshow type show.
Wrote, yeah, yeah.
John Grow, welcome.
Good morning.
So
Uh,
let's hear a little bit about yourself. I know you're one of our great contributors. You write a column for us, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
okay, basically, I come from the high tech world, and in 2011, I decided that I wanted to start taking another path. I always loved art, I always loved objects of luxury, watches, classic cars, paintings, fine art. Everything about the art world I loved, and I have always been a student since early on. And I was fortunate enough to collect a few pieces in the past. And I decided to have a career change, and I left the high tech world. And I went back to school, Northern Illinois University, McGill, Sorbonne. Spent a lot of time at the Louvre, basically on
Wow.
research. And I'm a member of the International Society of Appraisers. And in the US, there are only about 480 uh, real appraisers that would do work of a very critical nature. In Canada, we're only about 49. We do work with
Hmm.
museums, foundations, financial institutions, insurance, and also a lot of high net worth individuals. Uh, that could be multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires,
So, Elon
but
Musk, basically.
well, not. I wouldn't know about him, but there have been a lot of notable people that would have name recognition that I have been involved in as a contractable person. Now, what's interesting to note is that I do not collect anything. I do not own anything. I subscribe to a minimalist lifestyle where I don't want to have stuff and things. I have enough stuff and things that I'm trying to get rid of and downsize.
Mhm.
People put a lot of attachment onto their stuff and things, and for them, it gives them a sense of security, gives them a sense of belonging, of self worth. Sometimes they're holding on to objects that are preventing them from moving forward.
Mhm.
So a lot of the stuff I deal with are high value items. I get involved in a lot of high net worth divorce cases where there is questions on the total assets of the estate, of personal property, or of people who have passed on and their estates want to know what the value of the personal property is. And everything I do has to be in a written format because it becomes a legal document. So if somebody asks me, what is the value of this object over here? I cannot refer them to any valuation verbally. It has to be a written research report where I have to have a documented work file. And this is because of my errors and omissions liability insurance, the insurance that I have. So whenever I'm examining an item, let's say, if something happens, and let's say I drop it, God forbid, uh, I'm covered for insurance, but also whatever I write, I'm liable because it is a professional opinion, and because of that, I'm covered by errors and omissions insurance. And for insurance companies working with lawyers, this is very critical. Or working on government documents with different government agencies, Canada Border Services, Canada Revenue, Canada Export. This becomes very crucial.
Mhm.
What's fun about this is that I'm learning every day. Um, I continue to take courses. I have to maintain a course workload that is monitored by the educational credits that I get every year. I have to do a legal course every 2 years, and I have to requalify all my specialties every 5 years. So this is not a membership where you just send in your money and you get a box top certificate. It's
Wow.
monitored. You have to maintain your status as a qualified appraiser.
Cool.
And with that, I think I said enough about me. On a on another side note, I have been an active volunteer at the Montreal Shriners Hospital. The Shriners Hospital has its only Canadian hospital in Montreal out of 11 hospitals in North America. And I've been involved for the past 35 years uh, as a volunteer. And I am also a co-founder of Orchestre Nouvelle Génération, which is a classical orchestra in Montreal. We started this in 2011, and we are in our 14th season. And our funding comes from a lot of foundations.
Oh, John, I'm going to have the same comment as I did to my lease. Try to keep your hands away from wherever the microphone is, because sometimes we get we don't hear you well. So
Sounds good. I'll duct tape
Okay.
my hands to my side.
That's what I've done. Well, mine
So-
are here.
Orchestre Nouvelle Génération, do you play anything? Wait a minute.
No, I play the radio.
Okay.
I know how to turn on the radio, and for the listeners in SDG, I mostly, if I'm listening to FM, I'm on Boom 101.9, and if I'm on AM, it will be CFRA in Ottawa or a Montreal station.
Oh,
And
All right.
with that, I said enough about me and my endeavors or past endeavors. And do you have anything that you want me to take a look at?
yes, absolutely.
do.
So I'm going to bring these onto the screen.
Because talking about McDonald's, we have some vintage McDonald's pins for you to look at.
Okay. This is a limited edition proof set supplied by McDonald's Corporation. And these are the McDonald Land characters, the pins.
Mhm.
And this set over here is from the 1980s. And they usually go on the open market from anywhere from $250 to $300 Canadian. And there are a lot of collectors of McDonald's memorabilia. So if they wanted to sell this, they would be able to get that value fairly. I'm very confident that they'll be able to get that value.
So it's $250 for the whole set, you mean, or for each
the-
one?
No, for the whole set,
Okay.
250 to 300. Individually, if they were to be made available, let's say somebody had one or two, they usually go from around $10 to $15 per pin.
Okay.
But the
Okay.
whole set is from anywhere from 250 to 300. And as I said, there are a lot of McDonald memorabilia collectors. So if they wanted to sell this, they would be able to find a willing buyer.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Shall we move on to the next one?
So I just want to let everybody know that these are items sent in by our viewers, and John is going to be with us every first Monday of the month to do appraisal. So if you have anything that you want him to appraise in the future, send us an email to appraisals@theseeker.ca.
Okay. So here
Okay.
is the second one.
What we have over here is we have a gold filled pocket watch. And when I refer to a gold filled or gold rolled pocket watch, it is not pure gold. Pure gold would be 24 karat. But this is almost like plated gold. Now, the problem with gold is that it has to be tested on site. Going from a picture is very hard, but in this pocket watch is another picture that I have seen that shows the face of the pocket watch. Okay. This pocket watch is anywhere from the 1900s to 1905. It is a private labeled pocket watch of a retailer. And the movement, which I do not have a photo at the moment, but the movement inside might be an Omega movement from over 100 years old. If this is an Omega movement, the pocket watch could have a value of around $450. If the gold purity via testing is done, and if the purity of the gold is 14 karat and the plating is such that it is a very good quality plating, the value might increase to $600 to $650. Unfortunately, the person did not send pictures of the movement. What I would do in this case is right now, it's unknown if this watch is working or not. I would take it to a jewelry store such as Odin's or Pommier and ask them to do a test of the gold. And what they would do is they would take the pocket watch and basically put a conductive test on it, and it would give a reading of what the purity is. Or they would scratch some of the casing of the watch onto an emery board and then put some acid that would eliminate higher grades of gold. And the gold that does not dissolve with the acid is the grading of the gold. Right now, this has to be visually inspected, but the value could be as high as $600 Canadian. If it's not working,
Whoops, sorry.
I do not recommend getting it repaired because the cost of repair will not bring its value up anymore. right now, the question is basically how much gold and what is the purity of the gold that will determine more of the factor. The Omega movement might be worth anywhere from $100 to $200, but there's a lot of ifs because I cannot say for sure if the movement is Omega, which is why the pocket watch would have to be examined. It might pay the owner to go into a Pommier and ask for a one-page appraisal report on this watch to get more information. And the appraisal would cost them money, but if they want to keep this for a family keepsake, it might be worth the investment of doing so. That's it for this model. Do you have something else?
Yes, hold up. I'm going to grab something else.
Oh,
Okay, the Congress playing cards. These are very common. They go anywhere from $20 to $25 if you have a buyer. Most of your market will be American. It will not be Canadian, but there are some people that would buy it. But do not expect any more than $20 to $25, maybe even less, depending on if a person comes to your door and says, "I'll give you 15, go for it." It's not something that's going to appreciate in value. It's not something that is going to increase in value.
So,
It's a novelty.
speaking of secondhand markets, or where is a good place for people to sell their wares like this?
The most common right now is Facebook Marketplace.
okay.
They could list it. Don't be surprised if an item like this doesn't sell because your market is very limited. Canadians are not really into buying a lot of American memorabilia,
Right?
such as Congress playing cards.
Is eBay still a thing? Like,
Oh yeah, eBay it is, but eBay has a lot of fees. Like to list this item on eBay, it could cost you anywhere from $3 American. If you list it, let's say for $15 Canadian, and
not
your
worth it.
fee is $3, and the amount of time that you take to create the listing, which could be anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, you have to also calculate your time. And putting that picture on Facebook Marketplace and saying $15 or so, come pick it up. It's far more advantageous to the person trying to sell it if they want to sell it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's see the next one.
Okay, this item is one of those items where you just put on a flea market table and you put $2 on it. This could also potentially be very dangerous. This is not an item to be used outdoors. It doesn't have any grounding plug. From an electrical standpoint, an item like this used outdoor is very dangerous. The risk of electrocution is very high. One side of the plug would be hot and one side is ground. Depending on how your house is wired up, and if you do not have a properly wired house, you could be touching something that basically could give you a nice shock or might even result in death.
Wow.
I found one of these while cleaning the family house, and I threw it away.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe don't even put it on a
No.
garage sale table.
If you're going to use this indoors, you could change the light bulbs with LED lighting. It's going to be far cheaper to operate. But this is one of the things where you'll be lucky if you get $2 for it. It has no real value. It has more downside as a dangerous item, potentially dangerous item, than anything else.
So
Okay.
if you run that inside with LED lights, which don't get as hot, with that plug, it can still catch fire then.
Um, there's too many unknowns. Not knowing the house it's going to be plugged into, not knowing if the wall socket was wired properly. This is something that potentially has more downside.
Not recommended.
Not
Not
recommended.
recommended.
Does it matter if it, what is this? Is this the same thing or
This is the box for the photo
the
lighting.
box for it? So it doesn't matter if it came in the original packaging, I guess.
Has no matter. You could buy photographic LED lighting, portable lighting on Amazon for $5 that uses batteries, that is light, easy to transport. This is from the late 50s, mid 60s, when a lot of people were trying to do family portraits because they didn't want to pay for family portraits, and stuff like this was bought with the intention of using but never used. And then 50 years later it's found and somebody says, oh my god, this is old, it might be worth something.
Yeah. Okay, not worth the space you have in your house to store it. Okay.
Next.
Moving on. Okay, so I think
Go
this is
to the other picture.
Okay, do I have the other? Yes, this
There
one.
it is.
A clock.
Okay, this is a mantle clock. These are very popular. Retailers from the 1940s, 50s were selling them. They made this in mass quantity. It would be on a fireplace or on a mantle or other place in the house. And it had a very simple mechanism, definitely made in Canada. The wood, the movement, everything was made in Ontario. Does it have any value? Unfortunately, it's nothing more than a family keepsake item that maybe your grandparents had that looked nice. It's in very good condition. The wood could be cleaned and polished. You don't have to do anything with the dial or the brass ring. If it's working, it might be worth anywhere from $25 to $40 if you could find a buyer.
So, I want to say I've seen a lot of these mantle clocks, but in the Queen Anne style, and this one is very different. It almost looks Art Deco.
This is after Art Deco because this would have been made in the anywhere from, let's say, 1920 to 1940. Art Deco was basically, there's a lot of debate, but basically from the 1900 to about 1915, 1920, you had a lot of Art Deco styles and a lot of square, futuristic appearances.
Let me ask you this. So the appraisal you give today of the objects that we're showing, does that mean that there's no chance that it goes up in value at some point?
No. Right now, people like my son, who's 40 years old, or going to be 40 years old in a few weeks, he'll never buy something like this. He looks at this as a dust collector.
Okay.
If he wants the time, he has his Apple Watch, his Apple phone. There's very few people that would buy this to put in their house because family members would have something like this that would be passed on, and it would be kept, and it would be in somebody's basement. And this says, "Oh, I just put this away. It doesn't fit the decor. It can't be used in my environment. I don't want to keep winding it up. I don't want to keep it clean or polished all the time." So it's not something where you're going to have large groups of buyers buying this. 50 years ago, you could have sold this on the secondary marketplace, and if Facebook Marketplace existed it would have sold fairly fast. Today, this is going to be one item out of hundreds of similar items that are being offered for sale for a lot more money than, let's say, $25, and they're not going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the buyers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody has a home where this will fit in, let's say a 1940s to 1960s style home with the furniture, and they want something to augment the living space, this would fit in.
Yeah.
But today, in the world of IKEA, furniture,
Yeah, it's few and far in between.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All
So,
right.
you know, if it's from your grandparents, this is a family keepsake.
Yeah.
But if it's not working, it probably just needs a cleaning and oiling. But the cleaning and oiling will cost you more than the cost of the item is worth.
Well, I like it. So if you want to contact me, I might buy your clock.
It is actually nice. It would fit in my
It's
house.
really nice. I like it very much. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to these.
Ooh.
Okay, the bookends. It looks like marble,
Mhm.
and these are novelty items. They have no real intrinsic value. They don't have any value that is appreciable. It's not made out of jade, and there's only certain types of jade that would make it very valuable. But this is marble, handcrafted, probably in China. It's artistic. These could be found on the secondary market anywhere from $25 to $35. Um, and anybody who thinks that they could get more for them because they think that they're more valuable, they would have to wrap a $20 bill around the piece to make it more valuable. It's not something that is going to appreciate in value.
Yeah.
You see a lot of these at every flea market that you go to, or any antique fair. Um,
They
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 could,
they they creep me out. To me
they're
they
nice.
look like the Grim Reaper
Oh yeah,
looking at the
actually.
names of the book.
Yeah, they
The
do.
names of the next one in their book. I don't know.
Yep.
They're kind of eerie to me.
Yep.
Well, they could also be druids with the hoods.
Yep.
More likely, but I see the Grim Reaper.
Okay, so moving on. I mean, yeah, they're going to hold books, but then you can't put very large books in between them because the weight of the books are going to topple over the side. So the decorative items, $25 to $35.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on.
Oh.
Okay, I think this is
Okay.
this, right?
Well,
Is this the same item?
no, it's not.
Okay, so I'll go
Okay,
here.
this is a pocket. This is a pocket watch case. The watch movement has been removed. Now, it's very hard to determine whether or not the case is gold plated, gold rolled. And when I refer to gold rolled, it basically means a tin plate of gold is pressed on a tin slash steel copper alloy,
Mhm.
and the case would be warranted anywhere from 15 to 25 years. So the gold will not deteriorate, rub off, because it would be a very thin coating of gold. If it is gold plated, it would have a marking of 10 karat, 14 karat, maybe even 12 karat. But there's no visible marking on the case. So this would have to be taken to a jewelry store such as Gordon's or Premier to be examined if there's any gold content. The value is only if there is gold. If it's gold plated or gold rolled, the value is not going to be very high. It might only be worth $25. If there is any quantity of gold in it, then the potential of having this case worth about $100 it is there, but it would have to be examined in person. There were no pictures on the backside, so it's very hard to determine, if there's any gold. There was no picture of any marking or visible marking that could be seen.
Okay.
Okay.
Next.
Next. Okay, this little
Okay.
item.
Yes, this is a gold looking compact. Now, when I say gold looking, again, I could not see any marks that showed any purity symbol. It might be gold plated, or it might be impressed with gold shade. But from the picture, it's very hard to say. I did notice that there is some copper oxidization on the rim, which leads me to believe that the base of this compact is copper. The other picture, if you could go to the other picture.
Yes, hold up. I'm going to this one.
Now, this picture shows that there might be gold on the intricate design that is supporting the gemstones. Now, from a picture, the gemstones look like sapphires, but from a picture, you can't tell. This would have to be examined in person. If you take it to a jewelry store, they'll be able to tell you if it has any gold. They'll be able to tell you what the gemstones are and the approximate weight in carats of the sapphires. Now, there is a note saying that this was mid 19th century, which would put it around the 1850s. If this is indeed a piece from the 1850s, the chances that there might be some gold in this piece is very, very high, because jewelry makers at the time did not incorporate gemstones in jewelry pieces that would be more, let's say, costume jewelry. The gemstones were a little more rarer to mine, to acquire, also to cut the gemstone. So there's a lot of questions on this piece, and because there's a lot of questions and a lot of unknowns, there's no valuation that I could give, not even an estimate. This is one piece that has to be examined in person. Now, interesting
Gorgeous.
It
is
is.
that there are jewelry pieces that we have seen, that we have examined, that are anywhere from the 14th to 16th century, and these pieces look like costume jewelry, and the owners thought that they were costume jewelry, but they were basically pieces that came from the Renaissance, and
Wow.
extreme value. And because they looked fairly crude, the owners assumed that they were costume pieces, or costume jewelry pieces. And only when an evaluation was done and a gemological report was done on the gemstones, and the testing was done on the metal to see if it was gold, silver, and what other metals were used, it would determine that these pieces were, in fact, worth many thousands of dollars and later sold in auction houses in the States for large sums of money.
Wow.
Wow.
So this piece, it will be worth it to take to a local jewelry store that you trust, that will be able to test the gold and give an opinion of the gold and gemstones.
Wow.
All right. Next one. Oh, is that a second watch that we have?
That is the same one that we.
Same one?
Hold on a sec. No, this one here. Okay, this is the same one that we saw.
Okay.
Um,
So this, I have
okay,
no
next one.
idea what that is.
It's a rectangle. Next one. Next photo. Okay. Okay, here's a better one.
Okay.
Okay. I hate to say this, but dishware, no matter who the maker is, the demand has dropped. Nobody is buying used dishware. There's very few pieces that are of great value. This is a Royal Crown Derby. The decorative piece is the Derby Posies. And the model number is number 35. This is from the 1960s. The value on this piece, if you could sell it, people are asking anywhere from $20 to $30 Canadian. And even at that price, it is not selling. This piece cannot be used in a microwave. It cannot be used in a dishwasher. That is one of the reasons why there's no demand for these pieces. Because the generation of today, or let's say the 30s to 50-year-olds, or even myself, I am not going to bother to wash this piece by hand. To use this piece, you can't put it in the microwave. I could put candies in it, I could put other things in it, but then I have to wash this by hand. Then the chances of breakage is fairly high.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's a decorative piece. It's one of these things where if you had the complete set, it would be very nice. But I would just use this in everyday use. And if it gets broken, it was enjoyed. But the
Okay.
chances that you're going to be able to get $20 to $30 for this piece, it, it might be a hard sell. There are many for sale.
Okay. Moving on. Another watch.
Okay. This is a. It's called the dollar pocket watch.
Oh, we have a comment. Somebody says, I respectfully disagree. Love me some vintage Corel. But Corel goes in the dishwasher. That proves his point.
Yes, Corel is very collectible, but
Well,
that piece is not a Corel.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay, watch.
you know, I'm talking about that piece specifically. Okay, this is a dollar pocket watch. Dollar pocket watches because they were sold for basically anywhere from $1 to $10, and they were made by many companies. The This photo does not show the movement inside. The movement would probably be made out of steel, which would rust. It would not be made out of brass. It would be a mass-produced item. This was basically a throwaway item, much like the cheap Chinese watches you could buy for anywhere from $2 to $10 at a flea market. This is in the same category. Is there another picture?
Let me see. I don't.
Okay, this is it. Uh, okay, this this dollar pocket watch fitted in this is a wristwatch leather case for pocket watches, and these were made popular in World War One. So anywhere from 1910 to 1930, you would see people that would have this on their wrist. But this was made popular by military officers in World War One, where they wanted to have access timing to time the artillery barrage going over and not have to worry about holding the pocket watch and holding their rifle or their pistol in one hand. So they just moved their arm up and they were able to see the time automatically while holding their pistol, or if they had a sword or a rifle in World War One. The combination of the leather strap and the pocket watch, because I do not have very much information or photographs of the interior, the backside, it's very hard to say. But if this is a dollar watch, and there's a lot of assumptions here, but if from the original picture, this looks like a dollar watch, would not have an enameled dial, it would have a paper dial. The value will be anywhere from $50 or so. If the leather casing was more pristine, treated, taken care of over the years, and you didn't have the cracking that you had, it would be worth a lot more. But in the state, these go at watch and clock conventions, at the flea markets, where you would have the buyers for items like this, around $50. The people who would collect this are basically military memorabilia collectors from World War One.
Yeah, it's a visually interesting piece.
It is.
I can see a soldier, like I can almost be transported and see a soldier, going.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. A coin.
Okay. Well, I was looking at the République Française for the database of coins in 1875, and this coin does not show up. In 1875, it's classified under the Third Republic. The First Republic was Napoleon, and you would see Napoleon's figures on all the coins, but the Third Republic had the man in the center with two ladies on the side, and the motto of the Third Republic was Égalité, Fraternité, et Liberté. This coin on the other side, if you go to the other picture,
Okay. I don't think I have another picture. Yeah, that's my last. The one after that is my last picture. I do not have another one.
okay, going back to the coin,
Yeah.
this coin does not exist in the coin database of La République Française. This coin was printed probably by the Chinese, who have been producing counterfeit coins from the past 70 years. Believe it or not, they counterfeit everything. This would be categorized as a token. Now, the only thing that is unknown is if there's any silver in this coin. If it's a silver coin of any quantity, and coin silver on the US standard is 0.800, which means that 80% of the coin is of silver content. But usually coins of this nature at that time frame would be about 0.700, depending on the mint, depending on a lot of factors. So the only value of this coin would be if there's any silver content. If there is silver content, it might be worth $30. But there's a big if it has any silver content.
Okay. Moving
And if it has no
along.
silver content, it's a curious piece.
All right.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, yes, it is.
Oh.
This is called the Harvest Grape Indiana Glass Carnival Iridescent Blue pitcher set with tumblers. There are 6 tumblers in the pitcher. I cannot say if there's any chips, but if there are no chips, there's no cracking of the glass, and let's say that they're in perfect condition. There are people who collect this, but again, the quantity of people who are collecting pieces such as this, it's dwindling. Uh, People are asking anywhere from $100 to $150 for a set of 6 tumblers with a picture.
Okay.
Canadian. Um, it's debatable whether or not you're going to be able to get anywhere near that. You might. As anything in the secondary market, you have to have somebody who loves it and could see it in their home.
That's it, right? You gotta. It's kind of like you gotta find the right buyer at the right time as well. It's kind of,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you might be listing this for many months. It could be listed for many years, or it could go next day. Yes, you're right. That is it is
So we
radioactive green glasses.
we had a comment. I'm just going to read the comment in case somebody is just listening to this. The comment from Old School Dave said, "That's a nice set. Almost reminds me of the old radioactive green glass."
Yes, a lot of the older glass had some radioactive elements in it.
Oof.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have
And
another comment. What type? What was the type name of the glass pitcher?
okay, this set it's called the Harvest Grape Indiana Glass Carnival Iridescent Blue Pitcher
Wow, that's a
with
mouthful.
tumblers.
It's a big name.
It is. Uh, it, 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 d- d- just remember, it's a Harvest Grape Indiana Glass set.
Okay.
So back to the radioactive. So the glass was actually radioactive?
Yes, they're a good example. In the older watches or pocket watches, the looms that were visible at nighttime basically had elements of radioactive paint. And the women who were applying the radioactive looms on the watch dials or on the dials of instruments, like military instruments, let's say for aircraft, were radioactive. And a lot of times they were licking the brushes
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
tip of their
wow.
tongues and basically digesting
Yeah.
radioactive elements, isotopes, into
Yeah.
their
I saw a video on that. That was awful.
right.
That's
And
nuts.
a lot of
Yeah.
this glass to have the glow or the glow in the dark properties, uh, they basically bombarded the glass with radioactive elements.
Wow.
Well, these women, I was watching that video and they were licking their paintbrushes, and they would actually glow in the dark, and they thought it was such a cool thing until it
Right.
The
started.
women
Oh,
glue.
yeah, they actually glowed in the dark, but then
Oh
they
my
started
God.
obviously having a lot of health issues over time.
Yeah, they would get like poisoning. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, they would. Radioactive
yeah,
poisoning.
yeah. Wow. Insane. I'm
exactly.
glad we're
So
doing a better.
the bottom line is an item is only worth anything if there is a willing buyer.
Yeah,
And the amount of willing buyers these days, due to the economy, people are not spending money. They're putting the money for fuel, for heating, for food. They're
yeah,
not buying trinkets as they once were.
Mhm.
Those days are long gone. There was an uptick with COVID, with everybody home because they didn't have anything to do, so they were buying record amounts on Amazon. They were going on every site.
Going through their stuff in their houses too, because there was
it's
perfectly,
all
there was a lot of time to go through your old stuff.
There-
yeah.
there's a
Whoa.
lot of things that just dropped in value.
Sorry, I lost us there. What the heck? Okay.
It's
there we
interesting
go.
though when you say that, like the younger generation, they have no interest in that anymore. I know my daughter; she's 33, and she says the same thing. Like, you know,
I wouldn't say that. Like my daughter, just loves antique stuff. Like we stopped yesterday. There's a big house for sale on the corner of 4th and Sydney. And it's such a beautiful house. There was a open house yesterday, so we stopped in
Oh,
and went to check it out because I'm not opposed to selling mine at some point, but
yeah.
it's so fascinating to see the history of these houses. And it's like it was in mint condition, and you had the staircase for the staff, and the staircase for the main
Yeah.
people, and different quarters for the maids, and like the domestic, and the main house. It's just it's got such history. um and my
It's not.
daughter just loved it. Like, my daughter is the opposite. She said, if it's modern in there, I'm leaving. She wants to see the antique
Well,
stuff.
my daughter, I'm not saying
And
like
she's like
she still
16,
loves the
right?
old houses, but she just wouldn't go out and buy all kinds of trinkets. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. She loves the old stuff. You're not talking about the house with the little garage in the back, and it's like a
Mm-hmm.
three-story,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like
Oh,
a
well,
secret.
it's not a three-story. No, it's right in front of CCVS, like across the street from CCVS. It's a
Okay,
huge house. It's got 5 bedrooms, a creepy basement, like you would expect the 1900 house to have.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, it's just like it's done. It's modernized, but it kept the original feel to it. Like the kitchen is all modern,
yeah,
but the original floors and the staircase is the original wood, and it's just gorgeous, like beautiful,
yeah. A friend
beautiful,
of
beautiful
mine
home.
lived in one of those houses around there, and they had a little secret. They called it the secret staircase. I don't know if it's the same house you're
Oh, it
talking.
might be. There is a secret. Well, it's not secret, but it's like, you know
It's not the
because
house that.
they used to have a staff. They used to have
Yeah,
a cook or
exactly.
a maid, or
Yep,
there's 2 bedrooms that is in that section, and a bathroom, and then like the main house like uses like the front part of the house. And but it's fascinating to see, that
yep.
it tells us a history. It tells us a bit of history, like, oh my god, they actually had, you know maids on in the house living with them, like, that took care of the cleaning, the cooking. Like, I would love that.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah, that would
nanny is taking care of the children, like, great.
it was a different, way of living,
It was a
that's for
different
sure.
time. But I mean, in all honesty, this probably was not the norm, even in, it was probably more of a rich, like, doctor or lawyer that has had that house and
Yeah.
had the money to hire staff. But it's just fascinating. It's a beautiful, beautiful home. Whoever buys it is going to be very happy.
Oh, yeah. Well, all when John was talking, all I could think of was he's the kind of guy to take to an antique store or Value Village to go through all those shelves of stuff or serendipity. It'd be good to have him with you when you go to those places. So
Yeah, but you don't need more stuff and things.
I definitely know. I'm trying to downsize into my 680 square foot. And it's funny because everything we need is on the actual top floor. The basement is full. So to
Oh,
me,
well.
I have to purge because anything down there we obviously don't need. But yeah,
Well,
talk.
this was fun. I'm glad we're going to do it monthly. It was awesome. Very
Yeah, it
interesting,
was
very
very
informative.
interesting.
Yep. Yep.
Very interesting. We learned a lot today, John. Thank you so
We did.
much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you again next month.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye for now. So if anybody
Okay.
has anything, please send in your pictures of your items to appraisals@thesika.ca. No, that was very interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm so
I love that dollar watch with the leather strap. I thought that was
yeah, that
really.
was so interesting. Like, it's
Mhm.
it just, like I said, you look at these pieces and you kind of get a glimpse of history, like,
Yeah.
I could really picture a guy on the battlefield with his his
Watching his
no
rifle.
no wonder the band was all wrinkled and everything. He probably, went to war. Like, that's
Yeah.
fascinating to me.
I just want
Anyways.
to Before we go, speaking of antiques and old stuff, Serendipity Boutique on 2nd Street, 331 2nd Street West, my favorite store, has a BOGO sale today till 2
Oh.
o'clock. So buy one, get one. It sounds like on everything in the store. So it's a good time to shop and support Maison Baldwin House at the same time.
It probably is packed over there right now, but
Luckily, I'm
stroll.
here in Martintown, so I will
Oh.
not be going anywhere near there because I do stop by all the time and try not to buy anything anymore because I need to get rid of, not buy more. I love old stuff though. I love retro clothing. I love any of that stuff. It's really interesting.
Before we sign up, don't forget to watch the Keeping It Real podcast on Wednesday at 3 p.m. If you haven't seen last week's, we had Jennifer Francis with us. It was an awesome show. Go catch the replay. It's well worth it. So with that, I bid you a very good day.
And a super duper week. See you next Monday.
Bye.
Bye for now.